You may have noticed the headlines that we have found ourselves in a bit of a crisis of children's independence, meaning our kids these days are not as self sufficient as generations before. There are so many reasons for this, a lot of which I write about in my book, Autonomy Supportive Parenting. But today I want to talk about one very straightforward way to reverse that trend in our homes and our families. Because here is the truth: when our kids are actually doing more for themselves, we do less. And that's what we all need. The subtitle of my book is Reduce Parental Burnout and Raise Competent, Confident Children. We are doing too much as parents. I do too much even when I know better. It's kind of the world we have found ourselves in. We are overdoing, we are over parenting from a place of love for our kids. But the problem is what's happening is our kids are not developing skills and confidence for brighter futures for themselves as independent young adults. So, I want to share one way to reverse this trend. And this is a hill I die on in parenting. I don't have many. I'm a pretty flexible, open minded gal about what works for every family. However, I strongly believe in the power of a chore routine. And I have worked very hard in my family to make this an expectation. So I will not lie to you. There is work involved. However, once you set it up, once you implement it, once you maintain it, you will see your children rising to the occasion and actually getting better at skills that are important for their daily lives. And you get to do less. So let me tell you, you can start no matter how old your kids are. I know those teenagers will have a hard time if they're used to being waited on hand and foot and don't have to do anything around the house. And if they hear, okay, now you're going to start helping out, I get it, okay? They're not going to just say, great, I'm so excited to do more. But I promise you that if you maintain the line and explain the rationale that they need to be able to take care of themselves in the world and they need to start under your house, under your roof, that you will get there with practice and momentum. For those of you with younger kids, oh my gosh, those little ones love to help. Now, I know the challenge is that their help isn't very helpful. Like 4-year-olds trying to fold laundry does not end it up in folded clothes. However, it's the spirit, and we want to encourage that spirit of helpfulness. No matter the age of your kids, no matter how long they haven't been doing chores, you can start. I promise. Start small. Don't overwhelm them with a huge list. In fact, I suggest using autonomy supportive strategies from my book to establish a chore routine. Give your kids choices. Collaborate with them in developing how this chore routine is going to work. Have a list of all the possible chores in the house. And if you think about it, there are a lot. You can break it down into very small pieces like vacuuming one room or dusting one room. And then you present your children this list and they get to choose. And then they get to choose when they do the chores. So they do have choice involved in the expectation of chores. And so what happens over time is they get more accustomed to helping out and having it be a practice and a habit. And in our family, every year at the beginning of the school year, we get out the chores and we bump it up a notch because as they get older, they can assume more responsibilities. So now I have a almost 16-year-old and 14-year-old who make dinner once a week and do the dishes. Do you know how lovely it is to not worry about doing that stuff that night? Yes, there are times that I am modeling and helping and coaching, but they have gotten so much more independent over time. In fact, last week there was a night that I actually, between parent teacher conferences and carpooling for sports, I could not make dinner for my family. And my 15-year-old was able to just do it without me there. I came home and dinner was made. It was incredible. This is like what I've been working for. So I promise you can get there. If you want more guidance, please feel free to reach out to me. You can always find more about all of these ideas in my book, Autonomy Supportive Parenting. Go on my website, emilyedlinphd.com, or follow me on Substack, Parents Smarter, Not Harder. And if you're interested in any coaching, you can find more information about that on my website.